Yo, what's good, everyone? ToxicWavesPodcast here. I'm your host, Sloscopic, aka Miguel.
I am Don Jar Jar, aka Angel.
Yeah, and today we're gonna do an episode on the Juul industry.
Ooh.
So, yeah, a little bit about Juul.
The Kansas.
The what?
The Kansas sticks.
The Kansas sticks. And so, it's funny, right? Because Juul was intended for people to get off of smoking.
Right?
Right.
To get less cancer.
Right. Those cancer sticks, you know what I mean? Like you said, they were trying to get off them. And so the alternative was, and the people that are behind Juul, their intention was to create this device that, I'm sure there was other trials and tribulations before we even got to the vaping stick, Juul. But ultimately what ended up, coming about was a device that you could portably charge and place these little cartridges that you could just
So are they're like advanced e-cigs?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
E-cigs came right before this, and so they had like the little imitated cigarette that you could just hit, and it was like a vape, but as it was in the shape of a cigarette.
Oh man, I don't mean to dock him, but low-key, my bro used to do those shits.
Word.
Like, he would have those like mini cigarette vapes, and like it would look like a real cigarette, but it would glow blue at the tip.
No way. Wait, did you ever hit it?
Yeah, I would, because I thought it was a cigarette, so I would just pretend to hit it because I know you don't light it. But then I see it turn blue, and I'm like, oh shit!
Oh shit!
Like it's on.
Yeah, it looks kind of real.
Smoke did kind of come out, but I didn't hit it fully.
Damn.
I just showed it to my brother. I was just like, yo, what is this? And he was just like, let me show you.
Wow.
And then he just blew a cloud, and I was like, oh, wow.
That's actually pretty cool. That's innovative.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man, it's pretty innovative, I'll say.
Then he kicked my ass for saying, don't ever touch it again.
Damn.
Really good.
Rightfully, shit.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, and so it's pretty cool, right? Because this is like an innovative step in the big tobacco industry. Because now they were saying, well, it seemed at the time that they were saying, fuck the big tobacco and let's just bring this into the table.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like I was saying, with these cartridges that they'd place into these devices were all flavored. And at first it seemed like a good intention, right? Like you want to hit something other than what you're always, tasting. You want to try different flavors. I'm sure. I remember them having a mango, a mint one. I know the mint pods were very popular.
They had there was like one flavor that I remember I used to see a lot where if you were just wanting that cigarette taste, they had a cigarette flavor.
Flavor? Oh shit!
Like a legit cigarette flavor. I actually tried it, and okay, guilty people. I have used Juuls before, not a lot, but they've come around my life.
We're not judging here. It's all good.
No, I'm just telling y'all because I do like the vape then and there, but Juuls were kind of rare for me because Juuls were always that one. Well, one, they were always expensive as fuck.
Yeah,
like they were damn near impossible to get during the time too. Because during the time, I wasn't even old enough to get them.
Right.
So it's like, you always wonder like, oh, if I was someone who was old enough to get them and I could buy them regularly, like how far would I have gone? Like how most people would have gone? Because it's like there are a lot of people who spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on cartridges to use up for Juul pods.
Yeah.
Like Juul pods. They'll buy Juul pods and use for their Juul devices.
And it sucks, man, because these Juul pods were meant for you to like quit cigarettes and eventually quit vaping too.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to stay vaping after cigarettes,
It's weird.
And it sucks because that's not what happened. Or not, but there actually has been like cases where people did quit smoking altogether. But then there's other people, like especially young teens, which as we're gonna get into later in the episode. But a lot of people actually ended up like getting real hooked on it because the buzz was even stronger than a traditional cigarette. It was like way stronger, and I've heard stories where people go up to like 3 pods a day, bro. It'd be like 2 smoking pack light years or some shit.
Dude, I just remembered a story straight up.
Sorry
if you heard me chuckling. It's just I was remembering the story. I just remember a story where it was like, like me and our homie Omar, right?
Yeah.
We were during the time it was around when we were in high school, junior year. We would always constantly be like wondering what could we like hit on because we were always fiending, for whatever not
type shit.
And I remember like he had his own Juul, like his own device, and we would go to the bathroom and we would just be in that shit.
Damn, son.
And it was like a cool menthol flavor.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
like he would hit it and he would just start dying, and then I'm like, dude, like, why are you dying to this? And then I'll hit it and then I'll start dying. Like,
Really?
dude, because I mean, really, if you're someone who vapes normally, you'll know that Juul pods are a little bit more tougher than normal types of vapes.
Weird.
It's like you'll hit like one of those disposable vapes, or not even like, you know how like they have those fluid vapes for those big devices.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you adjust your levels on that to your
on the coils
preferences or whatnot. With Juuls, it's, you know, you hit it how it is.
Right.
You know, you charge it and that's how you hit it, and it's a rough hit.
It's interesting.
It'll fuck your throat up really bad.
What is it in the cartridge? It's just like oil, right?
It's nicotine oil, yeah.
An oil, yeah. So it's weird
with
how it's
probably
real rough.
distillate flavor. Like,
you think the flavoring was ultimately rough, or was it the actual substance in it itself?
both.
Okay,
Because, you know, they could do an overabundance of flavorings.
I see.
And that is also a big problem for your lungs,
Yeah,
too, because that, I believe that can result in metal.
right. Like the metals when it's heated and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, Juuls have always been then and there for me, but I never really thought of it like, okay, this is an alternative for cigarettes. I always thought of it like, okay, this is just the new cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, instead of it, they're like, oh, I'm going to stop doing cigarettes. Well, yeah, in a sense, like, you know, you think, oh, yeah, this is a way of stopping cigarettes. But in their way, it's like, this is how I quit smoking less.
Mm-hmm.
And my way, it's like, you're just doing a more advanced smoking.
Right. I think of it like another form of ingestion for nicotine, you know?
Yeah, like you're just, it's worse.
It's like smokeless tobacco, like snuff, or what's it called? Snus?
Because they say a Juul pod itself
Yeah.
results in a whole pack of cigarettes.
Right.
So
it's equivalent.
There are people who can chief a whole pack, basically, in one sitting, if you think about it. Because they're hitting a whole Juul pod in one sitting.
That's crazy.
So it's like, what would you prefer? Smoking a whole pack of cigarettes or just one Juul? Because either way, it's the same result, folks.
Right. And that's
you can't pick and choose like as if it's gonna be easier either way, because either way it results the same thing. It's gonna destroy your lungs.
Yeah, and it's like the sheep in wolf's clothing, you know, like
exactly.
no one really talks about it because people think it's like a greater alternative and it's better for you. They'll probably do it even more unknowingly that it's about the same damage as a cigarette, though the health consequences are not determined because it's really only been out for less than like 2 decades, you know. And so shit, man, it's just, I'm just thinking
when did they started getting discontinued?
They got discontinued, I want to say in 2018 or early 2019, because there was already a lot of like this lung condition called EVALI, and it was basically because these so you were talking about the substance and stuff and how it was harmful on your throat, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was this thing called vitamin E that was coming around, and not only in Juul products in like late 2018, but also like oil cartridges for THC as well.
Yeah.
During the time, there was a lot of black on the black market. You know, there's a lot of carts on the black market and shit.
Phew. Scared.
That's when I started vaping cartridges, actually, like 2018. Shit. Yeah. And I remember now, looking back, I got a booth one because like it was an exotic. It was like it had this little eye on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally called exotic carts or some shit. And yeah, man, I just remembered, you know, there was a lot of shit going on at the time. Cause so there was this thing called EVALI. I think it's I'm sorry, anyways, EVALI.
Homie can't spell, bro.
I can't spell, but I just
braining ain't braining.
So in all caps, EVALI is a serious medical condition in which a person's lungs become damaged from substances contained in e-cigarettes and vaping products. Vaping involves using a device known as a cigarette. Anyways, I don't know why I just said that. We know what vaping is. If you're on this episode, you know what vaping is, right? I just want to keep reading. Anyways, so EVALI, right? It's a serious lung condition. Sorry, y'all. Okay.
It's a dangerous cereal.
Yeah, it sure is. But Yeah, and so it was really going around at the time, right? There had been a lot of fucking hospitalizations nationwide, and most happened to be like teens at our age at the time, like 16.
Oof.
You know, and so I personally never knew nobody that had been hospitalized from Juuls, but that doesn't mean they weren't going around.
I don't know anyone either.
You know, but they were still going around.
It's like I know people who use them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know people who like, oh yeah, I used them at some point. Like they're all different stories. Like some are like, oh, they don't hit hard enough for me, cause maybe they're like one of those super heavy vapors where they need like the big
Right.
disposable.
And those had been out for like 2 decades now.
Yeah, like they need those huge fucking shits.
I've seen them, bro. It's
put
crazy.
the fluids
The
in
clouds on them are crazy.
Yeah, like
bro.
they need that big cloud. And Juul's, I mean, Juul's is kind of more for pack the punch with the nick instead of cloud.
Right. I still consider the big ones,
it's
like
not
the big
what
oil
it's
ones.
meant for. So that's where people are probably like, oh, it's not enough for me. And then there are those who it's too much for them, which is me personally, where it's like I hit it and automatically I get a feeling of being sick, where it's like, oh, this is like too much of a hit, where it's like, I don't know if you've ever hit nicotine to a point where it's like your body just starts to feel like it's still.
Oh, yeah.
Like just completely still, and like you don't feel like moving, your mind is kind of stuck for a little bit.
Your mind is racing, yeah.
Just I don't know, like every time I would hit a Juul, I would have that feeling almost instantly. And then I'd get like a sick ass feeling. Like I don't know if it was just the shits I would get in general, like the actual cartridges, Juul pods, but it was just weird how like I would just be like that. And I was not the only one either. There's a lot of people who has most likely experienced that too. And honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone if they truthfully were like, oh yeah, you need to stay away from that because that'll make you sick. Because I do believe that there are some nicotine products that can make you sick, because it can also be a cheap one too, where it's like the oil inside. Sometimes like you'll hear people say like they'll hit it, but then the oil will start cracking out of the filter above and it'll touch their tongue or their lips.
I've heard stories about that.
Oh, and then I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but that feeling on your tongue feels so bad. Like
it burns.
Yeah, like it's kind of like an acid feeling.
Yeah.
Where it's like it
you
touches
have to wipe
your
that
tongue.
shit off like on the you know.
Yeah, it feels
it tastes
terrible.
Like shit. I burnt my lip.
And then like you'll hit it, and then like sometimes it'll be cloggy, and you'll have to like,
and then
like,
it fucking
puff
goes
really
up,
fucking hard, and you could go in the back of your throat. Sometimes I've experienced that too.
Damn, that's gotta suck.
Where it's like it just went to the back of the throat, and you're just coughing in the worst way possible. Where it's just the most unsatisfying feeling. I mean, Juul pods were such a failure because it's like they were supposed to be a solution, but they ended up being something beyond that. They ended up being something completely on its own, where it's like, this is worse than cigarettes. This shit is poisonous, damn near.
And you know what the big conspiracy behind it is? Their failure was their biggest success, because once they realized that these things were actually hurting more than helping, that's when they started making profits off this. Because now they had young teens, 16 and even younger, like addicted to these products. And not only teens, but like if you were using, I'd say like 8, like honestly at any age, bro. I was on the like say 30 and below, but really like at any point, like you could low-key get addicted to a Juul. Yeah. Because they just were that much better than a cigarette in all form aspects. So it's like,
and I get it too. Like if you're young as fuck, I mean, they're a lot easier to access than cigarettes. Cigarettes,
absolutely.
You gotta go to the gas station. You get the drill. You gotta go to the gas station. You gotta have the clerk. Hey,
you don't need a plug for cigarettes.
Like with Juul's, some dude could sell them to you, like some random ass fucking 18-year-old.
It's very unregulated.
Someone could just give it to you, honestly.
Yeah, and that's still a problem that we're dealing with today. We get a lot of our vaping products from China, which we don't even know what the fuck's in them.
That's
and
that's so true.
it's so unregulated, even like on a market level, and so it's all fucked. Like I'd see why they want to ban
I
it.
saw like a video where
But they're
like
not even banning it. Like,
it was like a foreign company, I think in China, where it's like these men were like pre-testing all the vapes before they were shipped out. So
word.
literally they will put their lips on all of the vapes and then put them back and then package them and ship them
That's
out.
just. I mean, how else are they gonna test it? That's
You want to know something?
Mm-hmm.
I believe those are what the products are. Elf bars.
Wow, I believe it. I think I've seen it actually. Yeah.
So there are a lot of companies, vape wise, that do this. It's not just the Juuls. Like, you could even think like Puff Bars was a big company at some point that was heading that route where it's like, oh yeah, their popularity sprout once they found out this shit was more harmful than good.
Yeah.
I just feel like that would be any vaping company by this point.
At this point, yeah, bro.
What vaping company really is thriving now, though? Because honestly, after Juul, it's always just been like brand on and brand off, where it's like, you'll see a brand come and go, and you don't normally see it stick around. Like, I believe at one point it was Puff Bars. Those are completely
I haven't seen them.
Gone.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, it used to be Elf Bars. Now those are gone.
They're gone?
Yeah,
what?
like they're completely.
We
I mean,
can't get
even
it
if like I'm probably somewhere else, like in another state, probably not in Texas.
Wow.
But literally, dude, like, I mean, even if it's like they just switch off, it's like there's not a big popular brand anymore. It's just it's like a trend now, where it's like a trend comes and it dies out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's what vapes are now, where it's like you'll see Escobars go up for a bit, and then they'll die out, and then it'll be Elf bars, and then it'll be Kick bars, and then it'll be Czar bars, or whatever they're called, or it'll be like some fucking vape bar.
But there's so many companies going at it at once that there's just so much on the market. Which leaves more room for there to be a fucking dud company.
If you think about it, once a vape dies out, they don't come back. They just turn into something else.
Yeah.
Like, they go into a whole different product as if, like, oh, we're new. But in reality, it's just the same shit.
I think that's literally what happened with Elf Bar and Puff Bars. Yeah. Because once they banned them, then, like, the Elf Bars were just, like, the new and improved,
Yep.
But if you say those are gone, then yeah, I'm sure.
So the origins are the e-cigs, right? I mean, well, besides obviously nicotine itself, right? I'm talking like vape wise.
I know. I'm thinking. I feel like there was these things called Enjoy. I think those were e-cigs, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I guess we can look at that. What was the first e-cig?
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the first e-cig? It says here, the earliest e-cigarette can be traced to American Herbert A. Gilbert, who in 1963 applied for a patent for a smokeless non-tobacco cigarette, and it was in 1965.
65.
But that's when it was approved, my bad.
Approved.
In 2003, though, however, the first device in the recent innovation in e-cigarettes was developed in 2003 by the Chinese pharmacist Han Lick. I think that's how you pronounce it. A former deputy director of the Institute of Chinese Medicine in Liaoning Province. I think I said that right. His patent application described a kind of electronic atomizing cigarette. So 2003 was when e-cigarettes hit the market.
Right.
So I know it's kind of a lengthy one, but yeah. In 2004 it was called the Exhale. That's a device.
Exhale?
The Exhale. Yeah. In 2004. I think that was one of the earliest ones we can go back to.
Exhale.
But it was not very successful and did not pave the way for
Think about that, y'all. We went from Exhale to... What is it now? Whatever the fuck.
I don't even know, honestly.
Just whatever's trending today. And then the biggest company of them all, I guess you can say, was Juul. When it comes to disposable.
At its prime, yeah.
At its prime, for sure. like at its prime, it was one of the biggest vapes in the entire world. Like literally, if you said Juul, everyone knew what the hell you were talking about. It wasn't even like, oh yeah, the vape. They're like, oh yeah, the smoking device. You know?
Yeah.
Like they're literally like it's an alternative. For what? How can you alternative nicotine with nicotine? In my opinion, how's that possible? It's like, how do you fix a wound by cutting up more wounds?
I think it's part of the agreement that the customer and the creator have, that we don't want nothing to happen to the nicotine. We want a different form of ingestion than the common cigarettes and inhale and shit. And we want to feel the buzz, but we don't want what comes with smoking and cancer and all that.
Do you think people have the ideation of like, they hit it once and then that's it, and then they'll hit it again like 3 or 2 hours later, or literally just like a day later, and they're like, oh well, that's how I lessen my cancer chances, or that's how I lessen the nicotine levels, is by hitting it just once or twice, and then I wait the next day once or twice, and then, you know, like they're just a slow process. Do you think that's their idea of, oh, this is the solution, versus I'm gonna go outside and smoke a cigarette, maybe 2 or 3 or 4?
Yeah, I think that was the intention. Yeah, I guess the people the people initially thought, who made this Juul, this device, that most of our users
that's what people thought they were gonna do.
Yeah.
But in reality, of course, the same shit that happened with the cigarettes is the same shit that's happening with vaping.
That's why they're saying that
we're fiending.
Juuling is now becoming the new big tobacco.
They're fiending.
Yeah, even worse than before.
It's not even you're fiending for a cigarette anymore. Now you're fiending for a vape, a cartridge, a flavor device.
Even better.
To some people, you know?
Yeah.
Some people would prefer it like just how it is, you know? Like they'll get a menthol, or they'll just get nicotine flavored, like I was saying earlier. Disgusting shit. And then they'll get maybe like, I think there was like, what, 3 or 4 flavors. There wasn't a lot of flavors.
Honestly, I could pull them up all right now, but I know
I just remembered there was like a raspberry flavor, I believe.
Damn.
There was not a lot of flavors, but there was flavors. You know what I mean?
They had mango, menthol, cucumber, classic tobacco,
yep,
cream tobacco, and golden tobacco.
I must have been thinking about mango then.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Type shit. You must have hit.
That's not a lot of flavors, though.
The story you were talking about, you must have hit like one of these golden tobacco ones, or classic tobacco, or some shit.
No, classic tobacco.
Really? There was a classic tobacco and a tobacco.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. There really wasn't that many.
You know what's insane though?
What?
It don't even matter, because they all result the same shit.
Right. It's
all gonna end up filling up in your lungs, and there's nothing y'all can do, because, you know, we always cringe at those stupid commercials that's like, when you light up, you sign up. But in reality, that's true.
When you hit it, you in it.
Yeah. It's like, once you use it, you abuse it.
Once you hit it, you can't quit it.
Now we're just rapping. But it's like, dude, it sucks, because like how we were saying in the last episode, car accidents is one of the biggest deaths in America. So is like, isn't nicotine usage also one of them?
Yeah.
Like, not even in America, like the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is not even based in our country. This is like the world's issue is nicotine.
Yeah.
You know, like, the problem is it's not even the fact that nicotine's the problem. It's the fact that we're legalizing nicotine. It's the fact that we're making it eligible for people to buy at 21 and older. But you'll have states where they completely ban psychedelics and marijuana. But then other states allow psychedelics and marijuana. you know?
Yeah.
But yet somehow, some way, alcohol and nicotine is available.
Yeah, it's like they had to make this
everywhere.
They had to make a compromise.
But why?
But it seems like a shitty one.
It's like,
because
even
these are low-key,
here's
really
the
bad
real
for us,
compromise.
You know?
Don't do anything. You know, like, well, everything should be damn near illegal at that. Like, fuck. Tobacco should be illegal.
I feel like everything
Alcohol
should be illegal. I feel like everything should be legal.
Yeah, everything that should physically fucking harm your body
should be legal.
Your insides should be illegal, but they're not.
I feel like they should be legal though.
But they're not. Oh, but they are.
They should be legal, and I feel like if you want to do it, that's cool. Because there's like other sides to it, obviously. Like, yeah, there's pros and cons.
Well, no, here's my point though. You're gonna do it regardless.
Right.
Like, it don't even matter if it's legal or illegal because it's the same shit with marijuana.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's legal or illegal. If you have access to it, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
To whatever state you're from or whatever country you're from.
Yeah.
That's like, it would be the same issue with tobacco or fucking alcohol. Like, literally in other countries, they deal with this thing called, I believe, beetle juice. Like, it's fucking fuck, what is that fucking nut called? It's a nut.
It's a nut?
Yeah, it's a nut where it's a drug that literally foreign people do. A lot of, I believe it's more in Asia. I'm looking it up. Okay, literally, it's called a beetle nut. Like, what you do is literally, you get a nut, right?
This, yeah.
And this nut apparently is like an equivalence to a high, where it's like, I guess psychedelics in a sense. Some say a tobacco feeling, more like a super high tobacco feeling. Like, basically, this shit is like shit that anyone can get addicted to.
It has nicotine in it?
I believe so. I don't know what's fully in this. I just know that this is something that people get fully heavy addicted to. Like, sometimes they have to wrap it inside of a leaf, and then they just, like, they just start biting it. Like, they just start eating it, you know? Because when you put it in the leaf, apparently it filters it out a bit more. But there are just some people who eat it straight up. And that's really bad, because apparently people who get really addicted to it, their teeth get destroyed.
Damn.
Like, absolutely demolished.
Like, I wonder
it's basically
what's
like, yeah, it's like a tobacco. Like, it's a chewing tobacco, but it's a nut. But it's a high tobacco that's so up there. It's so potent that it actually gets you like, I need this. Like, there's a lot of people who travel, like, foreign, they'll try it, right?
Yeah.
And they'll either freak out really bad with what it's doing to them,
really?
Or they'll really understand, like, why they get addicted to it.
Wow.
Because it's like, some people will say it's really, like, the high is really it's like a good high. Like, it's pretty much worth it. Like, worth, like, the nut, eating it, chewing it. It's worth doing the risk, like a high risk level of eating it, basically. They're like, yeah, I can see why they do it, because it genuinely does feel good. It's like a heroin.
Really?
Damn near.
Word.
It feels good, but
it feels like a tobacco buzz.
Yeah, but it's like a more advanced tobacco
like
buzz.
Like a stimulated.
But it just destroys, literally kills your teeth. And it's the worst thing for you.
Damn.
Eat too much of it, you will die.
You can overdose?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy because you're not going to believe this.
What?
They sell it.
Where?
Here.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's try it.
Oh, shit.
I'd try it.
No, but literally, stuff like this is legal.
Wow. So it's not illegal. So you can access it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. That's like, they should...
there are other drugs. I see where
you're coming from.
There are other drugs that's like not as harmful, like some psychedelics and marijuana, that are illegal to the point where you can get felony jail time for that shit. depending on the usage, you could even get prison time. You know, like,
Yeah.
and then you can just have like, oh, like what, 3 cases, 4 cases of nicotine, like 10, a whole bar in your house. You have a whole fucking built-in mini bar with a shit ton of alcohol everywhere. You could probably have all the beetle nuts you want. You can just fail yourselves with pharmaceutical drugs too. You know, like, you can really abuse the pharmaceutical drug levels too, you know. That is something that a lot of people have been trying to argue about too, is like, you know, why do we push the idea of forcing ourselves to take a bunch of pills when there's a better solution other ways that are healthier for you, like a vitamin or a natural herb. Like, it doesn't even have to be marijuana. It could be any type of natural herb or a mushroom or something, some plant, you know?
Yeah, like tea.
Tea or something, you know? Like, why does it have to be a pill that a doctor just prescribes you? A Xanax or something.
That gets broken down by your liver.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll even assign you, like, promethazine. Like, you know.
Fucks up your kidneys.
Exactly. Like, and then get too hooked to it, you're going to ask for double the dosage.
Yeah.
And they will grant it.
Yeah.
So, it's fucked. It's like, everything should be illegal, yet somehow, some way, we're in a society where it's like, everything is just wrong, yet this is supposed to be our right.
But it's interesting because,
like, this is our right.
On the flip side, though, however, it has helped a lot of people. Like the codeine, promethazine, it has helped people. These drugs have helped people too, though.
In a sense,
that can't be unsaid. You know,
that's true. But it also doesn't either.
But it has potential for abuse.
Exactly.
And that's the unfortunate reality.
So why can't everything be legal? If everything's not legal, everything should be illegal. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
But it's like you said, it doesn't matter because people are going to get it regardless. Yeah. Because people are going to make this stuff. They're going to keep making it. If they can access the... Like you said, you can get these nuts that you can get hooked on for, like, legally out here. Like, it's the same way with anything, you know? And it's, like I said, it's the harsh reality of it.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate.
A lot of people get bashed for it too, you know?
What do you mean?
Like, there'd be a lot of famous people, a lot of athletes, celebrities who are openly out there with, like, oh, I use these drugs or substances to help me get through, like, my life. And it wouldn't even be, like, drugs, like a pharmaceutical, you know? It's more like weed, or, like, they'll be like, I'm doing shrooms, or they're doing, like, some type of LSD, you know?
Oh, like Jim Carrey?
Yeah, in a
sense.
They
did that with Jim Carrey, yeah.
Or, you know, there's also, I know you don't watch sports, but to anyone who does, you know, NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he openly admits that he does ayahuasca.
Word.
And, you know, that helps cleanses his mind.
Yeah.
When he does ayahuasca. And he's also openly admitted marijuana user as well. So it's like, you know, he definitely is someone who gets bashed a lot, though, because I do watch a lot of sports shows, and they will talk the most shit about him. Like,
and his, like, drug usage.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, how can anyone listen to this man when he's just fried all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, this drug addict on the field. You know, just, they would claim the most out of him. And in reality, it did nothing but just benefit him more.
Really?
Yeah, because he's still good and, like, he's healthy. The only issue is, well, he's older in age. So, you know, typically Father Time takes over a lot when it comes to your player times in the NFL or any sport, really. Right. So it's like, for Rodgers, he ended up, like, torn his Achilles, right? He tore his Achilles.
Oh, he literally couldn't walk.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles, like, in the first game. And, you know, at that point, all he had to do was just get into recovery mode. But even then, his recovery was super fast. Now he's already walking again.
Damn.
He's walking again. Oh, and guess what? He's still doing him.
Hell yeah. Keep
I
smoking.
guarantee he's just doing his thing. I guarantee
smoking,
you.
Brother.
He's just doing his thing, man, and I guarantee you it's helping him along the way.
Let's take a hit for Aaron Rodgers.
And it's like, honestly, there's a lot of people get bashed for it. Seth Rogen gets bashed for it. Like, recently, Snoop Dogg was getting praised for quitting. But then he goes back.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everyone's like, oh, that was great that he did that. But then there are those who are like, oh, what the fuck? You know?
And I think it's really interesting how this kinds of things, like what we do to our bodies and the drugs we intake, and like, you know, just it's really interesting how it floods in the media as well, and how it really does have an influence on the marketing. Like if people's like fans, for example, see that their biggest idol is, you know, using a Nick or whatever, like a Juul or whatever, they're gonna low-key be like, oh, you know what, okay, I want to be just
because you'll watch like an MTV Unplugged Nirvana tape, and you'll see Kurt Cobain lighting a cigarette.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I want to light a cigarette because it's badass.
Yeah. It's been like that for like years. Like there's these cigarettes that are literally like back in like the 50s. They're called Virginia Slims.
Waska.
They're called Virginia Slims. They were marketed on television back in the 50s to be sold to women. Like smoke. Oh. Like literally, they were cigarettes meant for women, bro. I'll put up on the screen right now. Virginia Slims. They're like,
that's insane.
Yeah, man. And like literally, the commercials had like literally like stay-at-home moms or like housewives smoking them and shit behind their husband's back and shit. It's crazy, bro. And like that's how like the media works, you know. Like they'll fucking put that on TV. Like, oh shit, you know. Like it's crazy, bro. And like even like the fucking what is it? What'd you say you called, like the anti-smoking commercial?
Right. They'll have like those anti-smoking commercials where they say, once you light up, you sign up.
Right. But like it's even funny because even those are like marketed in a way for the people watching to be like, especially teens, like, man, that's looking kind of funny, you know? Like, let me go fucking smoke one myself, you know?
There's even a newer recent one where it's like, I think it's more Hulu. So if you have Hulu, to the people at home, you've probably seen this commercial, but well, maybe not. Actually, I think it's a nicotine commercial in general, but it's about these heads, like they're being controlled by a machine, and then they're being punched by this device, and they all look like they're experiencing death, and then like they turn into coins, and then they fall into this pit, where then they get eaten by this like giant monster that's consuming all the coins. You know, at first you watch that commercial or just hear what I said right now and you're like, what the actual fuck?
No, it makes sense.
But then you think about it, like you think about that.
You're the one that's
to all the people at home. You know, you think about that and it's all true.
Yeah, the big monsters, the industry, and the money that's going to them is literally what you're spending, and you just keep getting hit and punched. You're literally making it rain for these companies.
Well, not even that. You know? They make it seem so, these animations, like they're dying.
Yeah, they're dying.
Or they're experiencing death, which basically could also reference you're killing yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're giving your money to these people, and all they're doing is just
eating.
Taking. They're eating, they're thriving, they're loving that you're dying for them.
Yeah, literally.
They crave it. They want more.
Keep coming back for more. Literally.
They're telling y'all, you know, come on, get us. There's plenty of time for y'all to get more until there's no more.
Because you did.
Yeah, but honestly, like, I think there's a moral lesson in all this, y'all.
Moderation is key, obviously.
Yeah. But anyways, like, I feel like we're getting more on the smoke topic. Let's kind of backtrack back into the Juuls. Yeah. So, because there's one thing I want to talk about. Like, is there any experiences from people that have had really bad experiences? Like the one that I just told you. Where it's like, I told you where I've hit it and I basically was like sick. You know, when I hit it, or I have that still feeling. Has there ever been anyone in particular that you've known that's like, you know, they've had a horrible experience from it, or they've had a bad experience from it, and they're like, never again, you know?
I've heard one story from a friend that he saw, like, his older brother, like, hit it, and, like, he was literally, like, holding himself tight, and just kind of, like, fuck, like, in, like, a sofa or some shit, just laying down, Because like apparently he did too much, like, you know, but like.
You know what else that could possibly mean too?
What?
He was probably fighting for air.
You think?
Yeah, because sometimes whenever you're fighting for air, you know, you try to like compose yourself, and maybe it's like he's backing away from a corner because it's like sometimes one of the best ways is try to seek a little bit of movement, but not too much of it.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. You know, that could be a possibility, but
I don't know.
Maybe he was just freaking out in general.
That's
like
as far as the story went, you know.
Like he just was hitting it, and then it just it was overbearing. Well, sometimes you hit it too hard, and you can't really. It's hard to catch your breath, because like I was saying earlier, there are some people who hit it and they're like, "Oh, this shit don't hit," because they're already used to that more aggressive shit.
Yeah.
Or there's people who's not used to it. They're more used to the daily cigarette, and then they hit the Juul, and then that's more rough than anything they'll probably ever hit in their life, and then they're like, oh fuck. Like there have been times where I would hit something like vape wise, and I would have a hard time catching my breath. I'd be like, ooh, you know, like, because sometimes you hit something so hard the air falls out of your lungs. Before you can suck in more air, you cough again. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like a slow buildup, like a balloon slowly getting inflated. But even then, with all the nicotine you're doing, you're also punctuating your balloons. You're sticking little tiny daggers in your balloon, and little by little, that balloon's gonna pop.
But that's the big question. Like, will it though? Because we really don't know.
Will.
We really don't know. Like, what if like you could live up to 100 and still be vaping at 100? You know, like we don't know, bro. Like the long term effects, we really don't know. Like truth is, though, it is scientifically said like nothing should be in your lungs but air. We all know that. We know it can't be the best thing for us. Just how damaging is it? And to those that have gotten sick from it, was it correlated? I mean, granted, yes, but
I'm like, you want to find out, bro?
What I'm trying to get at is how bad is it really? And everybody is different, physically wise, right? I mean, it's like with cigarettes too. Like, why do people that smoke cigarettes? Not everybody, but there's some that live.
Well, you gotta understand that some people probably start later in life.
That's true too.
So we can't necessarily say that they've been doing it their whole lives.
There's a lot of variables to that shit.
Because if someone was doing it their whole life, then you've been doing it since you were a kid.
Either way, you're still risking your life. You're gambling, in a sense, because you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, regardless. You're gambling.
Regardless, you're gambling. You know?
It sucks, but I mean...
It sucks, but at the end of the day...
Whatever.
You'll make your own decisions.
You make your own decisions, exactly. It's just, what can we do except just let y'all know you're slowly jumping off a bridge mentally. But
let's try to be a little bit hopeful, you know what I'm saying? If you're trying to quit, you know, it's never too late. Sure, we're aware of what we're putting in our bodies, but it's never too late to, you know, at least have that cognitive, you know, awareness to be like, you know what, this isn't as good for me as I think it is, and then proceed from there. You know, sometimes it's just a little bit in the mind, but I know it's easier said than done, and I think it's it's very negative to indulge, but
and I do feel bad because
it's not
there are people who really do fiend like really badly.
Yeah,
like, you know, I'm sure someone will be like, oh nah, I don't do that, but then once the moment comes, you're running out, you get that feeling of, oh, I need more.
Yeah.
Why are you getting that feeling?
Yeah.
Suddenly that feeling of, oh, this is a priority.
I'll admit, bro. Like,
and
yeah.
Like, I feel like one of the biggest issues is just, you know, we try to find solutions to a lot of coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And a cigarette high can do that, but sometimes a cigarette high isn't enough. So then that's where the Juuls come in, and then that Juul high is what does it for you. That's what's the next level cigarette. So because I remember a story, dude, where like I was fiending right, and I found my old vape. Like, it wasn't even mine. It was homeboy Omar's. He left it at my crib, and he forgot about it.
Damn.
Because during the time, these shits were already discontinued.
Wow.
So it's like, I had like one pod left. I had it secretly hidden somewhere. Because, you know, I just never used it. And I just decided I'm gonna use it. I hit it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna hit it once, and I'm not gonna hit it again. And guess what? I hit it a few times, and I'm like, okay, I'll hit it today, just for today.
Yeah.
And then I kept continuing until, oh shit, my shit died. I didn't have a charger. So now, in my head, I'm thinking, oh god, what am I gonna do? I need to find a charger. But I don't have a charger. You know what I did? I made a DIY charger.
Oh, hell yeah. I've seen those.
Literally, I made a DIY charger for that fucking vape.
Hell yeah.
You cut the fucking wire, and then you unhook the two little mini wires inside, and then you unattach some of the skin off, and then you brush off those little... What are those little hairs called? That...
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
The electricity.
Yeah. It's pretty funny because you got crafty with it. You literally became an engineer just to get
Yeah, you have to twist them together. Literally, you have to twist the hair coils, whatever they're
Isn't
called.
it crazy how...
And then you attach both ends to the device, and that's how it charges. Surprisingly, it doesn't catch on fire. That's literally how it charges. And I did that until the device ran out, and then once it ran out, I realized how stupid I was, because it's like, I wasted a charger for something that I told myself I wasn't even going to care about, and then I cared about it.
Isn't it crazy how addiction can do that to you?
That's exactly what it does to you.
And it's pretty fascinating in a sense, but it's also pretty, like, it's interesting.
And then there are people who are worse than that.
Yeah, it gets pretty serious.
And that's where I feel bad. Really, really bad.
It gets pretty serious, man. It's psychology, you know? Addiction in
And
itself...
sometimes, I like how you were saying, like, some people are different. That's true. But then at some point, their time is due. So you gotta wonder, like, when is their time due? If they're just gonna say, okay, I'm never gonna stop. This is just it.
I mean, death is inevitable, right? I'm sure that's part of the argument behind that. Is like, it's like it backs out.
Bound to die, but you're not exactly making it any better. You're just making it sooner.
Yeah, some people are okay with that.
It's just like, ouch.
They know what they're doing,
Well, some people don't.
And the addiction takes over.
Some people are like, well, like you said, like how we were arguing earlier about the people about the alternatives. Like it's supposed to be alternatives, a lesser cancer.
Yeah, it wasn't an argument, George.
But no, I'm saying not between us, to the fucking people who are telling us that this shit's an alternative. No. Yeah. It's not an alternative.
Like, yes, it is.
It's a more advanced cancer. That's literally what it is. It's a more advanced cancer.
Though it's not supposed
it's
to.
It's branded. It's like a Mandela effect. It's branded to be something that it's not.
I'll even tell you a carcinogen that's released through vaping products that has this, that's also found in cigarettes. It's called formaldehyde. It's actually known as a scheduled something carcinogen. It's like a main carcinogen that comes out of vapes, bro. And it's also what's known to cause cancer in cigarettes. So like you're right, it's a real thing. Formaldehyde. It's an actual chemical or a compound. Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy.
It is what it is. I mean, to all the I can't really be the one to say like, oh, I'm better than all of you, because like, I have my fair share of it and theirs. I'm sure everyone has their pick your poison. That's what the saying is. Everyone has their pick their poisons. So I get it. Do whatever you want. Just be careful.
Yeah. What if you can tell yourself that I can do this and it ain't gonna do me none? You think the mind could take over and make that reality?
Yes.
I feel like that's what I do with me. I feel like I just be like, what, this ain't gonna do nothing to me. Like, this is fine. But I have heard other people like that too. Like, oh yeah, I thought I was invincible when I was young, So I'm like, fuck. Because we're young still, bro. We're 22.
Well, I feel like because I have dealt with the whole Juul situation.
Yeah, I've never hit a Juul, I'm gonna be honest.
Because I have, and I've dealt with that whole high shit, I can understand why people would want to fiend for it.
Yeah.
and all that.
I'm sure I would have.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
But I don't know.
I just know.
I wish shit like this didn't really have to happen. You know, like
it sucks, man.
Why can't we just ban all nicotine? Like seriously, I know. Everyone wants to hate me now because it's man? Like I know. No! I hear the gunshots. I get it. You have your solutions to your own coping mechanisms, but truthfully said so, there are better ways. No, there's not. There are better fucking ways, dude. Like, there are just better ways. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's just a slow suicide note whenever
you know what? I have heard an analogy. About it. I've heard an analogy that marks what you're saying. Cigarettes, if you're going 70 miles per hour towards a brick wall on cigarettes, you're going 50 with vaping. You're still going to hit the brick wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's like either way, it's like you're...
just slower.
Death is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's like either way, you're screwed.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to quit, man. Like, I ain't going to lie to you, right? I'm not an addict. Well, I think I am an addict, actually. I'm going to be open and honest. But...
Jesus. You good?
I know that I'm an addict, but I don't have to be addicted to it to know that I'm an addict, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, I don't do it every day, and I actually don't have one at the moment.
You know you can be a fiend.
Yes.
You're absolutely. Not a fiend, but you know you can become one.
I know myself well enough because I like stimulants like that, you know? Right. Especially ones that would wear off.
And I feel like I'm like that too.
Like coffee, bro. I know I could get addicted to coffee. I'm going to be very, real as fuck here. It's like that, you know? And so, yeah, man. We're all in this together. You know?
Somehow, some way, the world will probably figure it out or not.
We really dove into addiction on this episode, but like, there's this YouTuber called CG Kid, and he basically talks about like his battles and like stories with addiction and shit. And he's talked a lot about how everyone has this certain drug of choice that really can drive them off the rails, you know? Mm-hmm. And everyone has a drug of choice because of their genetic compound and brain chemistry. And so for me, I feel like, you know, or really everyone has their own, like, you know, drug of choice that can really, like, his was meth, the YouTuber I was telling you about. But, like, to somebody out there could be nicotine, you know, that really can drive them off the rails and just like literally like take over their lives. Do you think
rehabs for nicotines are normal?
Yeah, I have heard about that. I think I've made I searched that up like once.
I hope they're not belittled, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this drug is clearly worse than this. I hope rehabs aren't like that, you know, where it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're dealing with a nicotine issue. Well, this guy's dealing with a methamphetamine issue.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It should all be.
This guy's dealing with a heroin
addiction
issue.
Addiction is addiction,
cocaine issue.
Yeah.
You know, they don't mostly focus on the guy that's dealing with the marijuana issue.
You could have someone more addicted to nicotine than coke.
Issue, or the acid issues, or like coffee issue.
Yeah, man.
As funny as that sounds, that can be an issue. Surprisingly, caffeine.
Yeah. Caffeine
can be a very addictive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Caffeine and sugar.
Like, Americans abuse coffee, bro. Like, in other parts, like you were saying
energy drinks, too.
You were saying how America is, like, one of the most addicted.
The world abuses coffee and energy drinks.
Right, but, like, the most in the U.S. I literally had an energy drink earlier today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, bro. Like, literally. It's crazy.
What were you going to say? Most in U.S.?
Yeah, bro. In the U.S., like, that's the most, like abused, like, drug in the U.S. is, like, nicotine and coffee. And, in, like, fucking Asia, they be drinking tea, like, all fucking day. Or, like, really in most parts of the world. It's
caffeine, basically.
Know? They really drink coffee very little compared, but,
caffeine is the worst drug out there, y'all.
It's like...
Caffeine and nicotine are on the same level. It's because they're just as eligible to get, and they're damn near every product, just like vape.
They're kind of sinister
nicotine
in a way, yeah.
Is damn near in every product. It's very, nothing's really organic.
However, to wrap it up with this episode, y'all, when it comes to Juul, man, even though they're not around today, even though this wasn't fully about the Juul industry, we talked about a little bit of other stuff, but hey, man, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? It was one of them, like, improvised episodes, but I still like how this came out. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of talking like behind the scenes combos on the episode, but fuck it. How you feel this episode went, man?
It's alright.
He said it's alright. That's what's up, man.
It's alright.
Let me dab you up for that. Alright, with that being said, folks, I'm your host, Oscopic.
Oh, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done, Jar Jar.
And this has been a good one. Till next time, homies, please make sure to like and subscribe,
And
comment.
one more thing before we head out. Also, stay cancer free if you can. We very much encourage y'all, especially if you're under 21. To anyone listening under 21, fuck off. Don't do it.
I'm gonna have to just say something.
Fucking do it.
Real quick. Even though we don't know the full underlying cause of cancer, what he's trying to say is stay away from vaping.
Stay away from anything harmful to you. Just don't fucking do it.
And if you're gonna do it right. Harm reduction is approved on this channel.
Don't fucking do it. But do it.
Stay safe.